Ladies and gentlemen, sorry for the slight delay, but we already extended a while ago sa Department of Tourism, and I have some personal concerns right now. Let me just begin the budget hearing for the Legislative Executive Development Advisory Council. I understand Mr. Chua is not available. Who's representing Mr. Chua today?
Mr. Chairman, Your Honor, this is Jose Miguel de la Rosa. I am the Undersecretary for Leda in Leda.
All right. And who else are here? Can you introduce us to your staff?
We have the Director of Leda, Attorney June Ilyama, and we have our three.
Can you raise your hand, please, and acknowledge when you're called so I know who you are?
Yeah, please. Attorney June, can you please do the honors?
Who?
Mr. Chairman, I'm June Ilyama po.
June Ilyama.
Yes po.
Where are you? It says May Grace. Is that you? Yeah, May Grace.
Yes,
June
po.
Ilyama. Yes, all right.
Yes po.
All right, okay. You are the supervising officer of the Leda Secretary, right?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Yes. And then who else? Mr. De La Rosa. Who else?
We have Ria Robles, Supervising Economic Development Specialist. Ria, please.
Sorry, her name is not here. Charlene, you should be taking charge of this. You should be the one showing the guests. Is Miss Robles here? Charlene?
Mr. Chairman, Ria Robles is online. Yes po.
Who is Ria? And who else is there? Carla Michelle Uy? So, Secretary De La Rosa, there are only two of you then?
Some of the Supervising Economic Development Specialists are with us, Mr. Chair.
Well, can you introduce us to them in case you have any questions? By the way, this hearing is now in order. Charlene, who are the other senators present, if any?
Senator Amy Marcos is present, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Once again, good afternoon, Senator Marcos. Okay, let's proceed. Please present your budget, Undersecretary De La Rosa.
Okay, we have on screen, Mr. Chair, our few slides. So we are proposing the following. We will have the overview and the accomplishment for 2020 and 2021, our proposal for 2022, and the Leda fund utilization for 2 years, including the first semester of 2021, and COA findings, which are really material to us, so that we are assured that the budget assigned to LEDAC is properly used. So we are talking about LEDAC, the basis of which is the Republic Act 7640 that was approved in December 1992. Since then, we had varying utilization of the LEDAC as the instrument for common legislative agenda of the executive and the legislative arms of government. So we would like to focus on the current Congress program, Mr. Chair. So for the 18th Congress, we were able to shepherd the passage of 7 bills in the LEDAC Common Legislative Agenda, which is on screen, Mr. Chair. These are bills that were vetted by the Technical Working Group and the Executive Committee to be important to our development agenda, Mr. Chair. And as an enhancement of the LEDAC process, and I think you will remember, Mr. Chair, a couple of years back, you supported additional budget for LEDAC so that we can have more activities. We have a very small budget for the calendar year, which supports 4 organic staff in LEDAC. That includes 3 senior economic development specialists and 1 executive assistant. And the rest of the members of the LEDAC Secretariat are assigned, are detailed by the Secretary. So there's 1 supervising undersecretary, which is me, and there's a director 4 or the head executive assistant or chief of staff of Secretary Carl, also assigned to LEDAC. So if you will note in our proposal, the fiscal year 2022 proposal would be just, very small, 4,024,000, with an increase of 130,000 that covers the mandatory increases in the salary. But for the maintenance and other operating expenses, we only have 266,000, bringing to a total of 4,290,000, Mr. Chair. For the budget utilization, we have a very good performance here because of the small budget that we have. We are able to obligate and disburse a bigger share of the appropriation for LEDAC, Mr. Chair. So in summary, what we're saying, Mr. Chair, is that the enhanced LEDAC processes would include a very cohesive and very active technical working group that's doing the backroom work for the harmonized common legislative agenda, Mr. Chair. And we are pretty sure that before the end of the year, we will have most of the enrolled and the priority bills identified by both executive and the legislative pass into law. So as I was saying, there are now 7 bills enacted into law that form part of the priority bills of the executive and the legislative, Mr. Chair.
What other bills are you planning to propose?
Yeah, can you show the list, please, that are... There are 11 bills already in the list, Mr. Chair. These are priority bills. Can you show it, Secretariat, please? So the first 7, Mr. Chair, had been enacted into law already. So you have the GAA, the amendment to AMLA, Financial Institution Strategic Transfer or the fees, and coconut farmers and industry.
I'm fully aware of that. What are the top 10 that you're going to submit in this budget year?
Yeah, the remaining bills would be the Unified System of Separation and Retirement, and Pension of Military and Uniform Personnel, amendments to the Retail Trade Liberalization Act, amendment to the Public Service Act, Foreign Investment Act, Migrant Workers and Overseas Filipinos Act, the GUIDE Act, the Government Financial Institution Unified Initiatives to Distress Enterprises for Economic Recovery, Passive Income and Financial Intermediary Taxation, the PIPITA, Virology, Science and Technology Institute, the Agri-Agro-Law, and the Real Property Valuation Reform Act, Mr. Chair.
Please address me as Mr. Chairman. I don't appreciate being addressed as an inanimate object.
Yes, apologies, Mr. Chairman.
In the Medical Reserve Corps Act,
it's part of the remaining bills, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Are there any questions from Senator Marcos? This is pretty tight. There are no questions. I will then proceed to submit your budget to the Mother Committee, so you can now consider this hearing finished.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much for coming. You may now depart from me.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. One big fight, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, one big fight. I hope you know where my fighting intentions are.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Ano ba class ka? Yusek? What class?
72
Oh, yeah. Martial law class.
Yeah.
In college or high school?
college.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Shall now proceed with the budget of the Aurora Pacific Economic Zone and Freeport Authority. Mr. Madukduk, can you please proceed? Is Senator Marcos there, please? Charlene, can you call Miss Senator Marcos? Charlene,
Afternoon,
just a
Honorable
moment.
Chairman Richard Gordon.
Just a moment. Just a moment. I'm addressing the committee secretariat. I don't know why she doesn't react. Can you react, please?
Mr. Chairman, Senator Marcos is still online. I'll message her staff.
Can you call her on the phone?
I'll call her staff, Mr. Chairman.
Session is suspended. Can everybody please turn on your videos? You know, the secretary should be the one in charge of making sure that everybody is on board. Charlene, clear. I'm tired of this, okay? Can you hear me? Ano pa to?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
I'm not supposed to be the one to call senators. You're supposed to do your job. I had already called Sherwin Gatchalian, so she's going to be here. Tired. Pinadala niyo ba kaya yan? Thank you for coming back. Thank you. Thank you. This meeting of, I just need your ratification on the previous one, Leda, that we already ratified. I'm sure you were listening in the other side, but that has already been approved, and I'd like to have your support to affirm that we have finished that meeting already. It's going to be presented to the committee. But if you like, we will call them back just so that you can affirm. Uh, in the meantime, Ms. Charlene, can you call Undersecretary De La Rosa so I can call the meeting, and then I can move for that, and Attorney Senator Gatchalian can second it, and then they will as already undertaken, their budget will have been approved. Can you call them again, please?
Yes,
Just to be sure.
call them. Yes, Mr. Chairman.
And hop on it, please, hop on it. Soon as they come in, I will stop the hearing insofar as Afab and as far as Apeco is concerned and Sbma. The meetings of the Leda, Apeco, Sbma, and Afab are hereby called to order. Senator Gatchalian is here, so we have a quorum, and we will now proceed to hear Apeco. We shall try to be fast. Mr. Madukduk, can you please right away tell me who you brought in here to this meeting?
Good evening, Honorable Chairman Gordon. I have with me tonight our legal officer, Attorney Aldaba, and our finance officer, Mr. Anthony Valencia.
All right, I understand that your chairman just passed on, Carmelo Santiago. Is that correct?
Yes, po.
And no one has been appointed there, right? To that
Yes, po.
position.
Mm.
All right. Then just answer the questions. Your budget that you're asking for is how much? You have
The
to do your
budget
heavy
that we're
lifting.
asking for is, the original budget is 153 million. For the OPEX, the original budget is 86 million, but the DBM has recommended 52 million, or there is a difference of 33 million. For the capital outlay, there was no recommendation. So the shortfall in the original budget is about 100 million, Your Honor.
So in other words, you're going to have to operate with 33 million. Is that correct? Or what is the total budget now? 52.
It's 52 million, Your Honor.
And why not? Let me just proceed to ask the questions, if I may. You have been getting support from the government for the last since uh, since 20 since your founding, when in 2008, and the total. Can you bring it down, please? Can you show it before the committee? My goodness.
Kailan ba tayo nagsimula?
Hello. Okay, we're back. You have received almost 2.2 billion in government subsidies since 2008. Is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And the return for those so many years is 72,787,000, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
So that means that you have not been successful in generating revenues, or for that matter, sufficient justification for your existence. Would that be correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, I must admonish you that if you do not improve your services within the next year, you're in danger of becoming functus officio. Because if the budget department has already slashed their budget dramatically, it's because there's been so much money poured into Apeco, but it doesn't seem to be working. Now, let's justify your existence now. All right? How many investors have you gotten in Apeco?
The last 2 quarters, Your Honor, we have 11
I'm
new
talking for the
people.
whole year and the last 2 quarters.
These are the ones with who we contracted with the lease. They are going to start the construction of their buildings, Your Honor.
No, I'm talking about who is in place. Who are the people in place there right now? Lucky Dragon Online.
Lucky Dragon is the only one that we have, Your Honor.
So you don't have anybody else?
Operating, Your Honor. Lucky Dragon.
What about JPEG Development Corporation?
They are on construction mode, Your Honor.
Where?
In Apeco, Your Honor, in Casiguran.
How much construction have they undertaken? 10%? 25%?
They have already constructed about 6 villas, and they are supposed to build about 30 villas.
So they're about
6 is about 20%.
25%.
Yes, Your Honor.
And what are these villas for? Are they going to be for sale? This is like a subdivision
These are all for lease.
for lease. And what else? T&D Asia Pacific Entertainment Group. What is
Yes,
that?
Your Honor. T&D will be for online games. And then we have new one. We
No,
have
no. TGV
company
Development
will-
Corporation. Agri Aqua. What is that?
Agri-Aqua, that will be a 650 million investment and will generate about 500 employees.
What stage of development are they in?
They have already, the lease contract was signed only this year, Your Honor.
When this year?
Last June, Your Honor.
And they have not started.
And
They-
then we have for light industry, Your Honor.
They
we
have
have
not
one
started. I'm asking the questions here. TGV Development Corporation has not started.
Not yet, Your Honor.
Indus Pacific Realty Corporation.
Construction of the building, Your Honor.
What building?
Tourism, for tourism, Your Honor.
No, what
Villas.
building? What kind of building? A hotel?
Residential villas, Your Honor.
How big an area are they occupying? How many hectares?
Half a hectare, Your Honor.
Half a hectare. All right. And they have not started yet, or they have started?
They are already constructing, Your Honor.
How many?
These are actually two buildings now in progress.
Do you have pictures?
Yung picture ba tayo? Can you do picture of
Okay, you prepare the pictures. You should be able to sell this idea to the Senate and to the Congress because it's kind of hard. These are drawings. What are the actual construction going on?
wala ko nung actual picture. So,
I don't mean to be hard on you, but we've been having you here for the last several years, and nothing seems to be happening. What about Yongxin, Asia Pacific Dragon Realty Corporation? What is that?
Asia Dragon will be into residential villas as well. Yongcheng will be a 300-room hotel. They expect to start construction next year because
Who is
they're still
the
waiting
main
for a
stockholders to this group?
property.
Are they Chinese? All these are Chinese? Lucky
Yes.
Dragon is Chinese, correct?
Yongcheng is a Chinese group, Your Honor.
Lucky Dragon is Chinese.
Korean, Your Honor. Lucky Dragon.
JPEG?
Asia Pacific is Filipino Chinese.
All right. TND?
Indus Pacifica is
How come you're taking your time?
Korean, Your Honor.
Konti na nga lang yung investments mo, di pa ba alam? Do you stay there? Don't you know? What about Winstep Industrial Corporation?
Winstep is a light industry company who will engage in assembly of electronic components, Your Honor.
Have they started?
Their construction will start next year, Your Honor. All of these new companies have just signed a lease contract with us, and all construction will be held in next year, Your Honor.
How do you know they're not land banking?
Yes, Your Honor.
There's a pandemic going on, and when that is finished, they better be able to start.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, let's move on. Bring it down. And how many? I am told that you have problems with COA.
Yes, Your Honor. What about the COA findings, Your Honor?
Tell us. You have untitled lands consisting of 42 lots, costing 39.36 million. And you only have titled 10.13 million. Is that correct?
All of the capital gains and the documentary stamps were already paid, Your Honor, but
I'm just asking for the titling. COA,
yeah,
I'm just
for the title, Your Honor. We have some issues with the Register of deeds, Your Honor, so that we haven't really gone for the registration of the transfer, Your Honor.
Go ahead. You already been how many years? 6 years? 7 years? 2009, more than 12 years.
Yes, I know, Your Honor. But
If
that
you
is
I
an issue with the
understand.
register of deeds.
Especially after Create, they took away all the investments of others, and yet you're still there. And I fought for you.
Yeah, I know, Your Honor.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Okay. I think you guys better write a sufficient letter answering all these things to the committee. I will call you again. I cannot ask the committee to present this for the floor because it's going to be very hard for us to accept it. What is the pleasure of Senator Marcos? Finally, you're there. Thank you.
Sorry, I'm finally back. I'm sorry. Yes, I think that's prudent. Chairman Gordon, you can hardly be expected to defend something that we don't understand.
And besides, there doesn't seem to be any improvement in the situation. At least try.
Oo nga, taon-taon pareho naman pinapakita ninyo. Naiinit na kami sa sarili namin kaulit-ulit.
Ay, nako.
Well, by next year, we can show some improvement, especially po dito with the new investments that we have. We're sorry po that we are affected by the pandemic as well because of the COVID, but we're trying our best to give what is due Apeco, Your Honor.
Well, I fought for Apeco. The late Senator Angara was my very close friend. All right? And I believed in the vision of Apeco of having a port on the side of the Pacific Ocean, especially with Benham Rice, especially since we could even build a canal someday from Quezon going to the Manila area, going to, cutting across the Isthmus. I think, I've forgotten where it is. Saan yun? Atimonan, in Atimonan. You're aware of that, right, Mr. Madokdok?
But we are not on the way to Atibonan, Your Honor. We are on the north side, Your Honor. For Kasiguran. That is Aurora, Your Honor.
I know.
Atibonan, I think, is in Quezon.
Yeah, Atimonan is in Quezon, all right. Yes. But that would really benefit you because all the ships would have to go, you don't have to go around the north of closer to Taiwan, and they don't have to go to San Bernardino Strait to get to Manila Bay and go to the rest of Asia. But anyway, that is not what we're talking about today. But the record is very, very jarring, the titlings are not there. Slow down, please. There are uninsured properties amounting to 155.26 million. And can you slow down? A non-attainment of significant accomplishments. It's all there. Made by COA, and it's going to be very hard for me to defend this. I hope you understand.
Yes, Your Honor. I understand, Your Honor.
And then you have unprofitable projects. Have you finished the ice plant?
The ice plant, Your Honor, is already unserviceable because it was damaged by 2 typhoons, Your Honor.
We put 9.7 million and now it's unserviceable. You were not able to protect it during the typhoon?
No, Your Honor.
What happened? Trees fell on it?
Because most of the equipment were exposed under the elements. So there were 2 typhoons that hit Kasiguran, and before we can fix it, the second typhoon hit it.
Subic had so many typhoons in my time, but we never let all these things bog us down. Oh boy.
Oh boy, what are we going to do, Chairman Gordon? Kasi hindi lang naman COVID to, sir. Kasi ang sabi dito, poor planning and inefficient investment programming. Wala na yung kinalaman sa COVID at saka sa budget. So sana konting foresight po.
Opo, we are looking into that, Senator Amy. And I hope by next year, when we face you again, we can give you a very good accomplishment.
Every year you say that, maybe.
I believe, Your Honor.
Lucky na tayo.
Okay.
Well, we'll call you again. I'll have to talk to Senator Angara.
Sige po, Your Honor.
Yeah. So the hearing for the budget of Apeco is hereby suspended with the permission of Senator Marcos.
Yes, we move for the suspension of the Apeco budget at subcommittee level until further information is supplied so that it may be endorsed to the mother committee and to plenary. I so move.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Senator Marcos. May I implore you to, because there was a budget for 4.5 million, if I'm not mistaken, for the Leda. And I think you were online, so I presume that you were listening. And so
Yes.
I move that we can present it already. Can you affirm that, please?
Yes, we affirm that the budget, is that for Subic, sir, or for Afab?
Leda,
Sorry.
Leda.
For Ledac, yes, of course. The
Budget
Ledac is
for
on,
million,
yes,
4 million
the
plus.
Ledac budget for 4.5 million is uncontroverted, so we endorse this to the mother committee, having passed the subcommittee for discussion at the plenary.
Thank you. Then I formally approve that, and it is approved by the committee, and we can now proceed to the mother committee. Thank you very much, Senator Marcos. You're a lifesaver. I'm trying to save Apeco, you know.
Yes,
Uh,
we're all trying to save them because the eco zones are also under my watch in the Committee on Economic Affairs. I don't want any to go belly up.
yeah, it's hard to open one. You know how hard it is to open an economic zone? It is so hard. Ay, nako.
Sayang.
Oh, masasaya yan. Pero I can defend it up to next year, but you have to give us these documents. You have to write your homework, do your homework, and address all the concerns from COA. You have to give us more specific detail of when these companies are going to start, their background, their everything. And that's what we want from you next time.
Okay po, we'll submit it, Your Honor.
All right. Make sure you submit a very, very cogent and very, very detailed presentation because you really have nothing. It's so little. And you should be able to be more specific and detailed. Right?
Okay po, Your Honor. We'll do that po.
Alam mo, madukdok ako, dikdikin mo para magkaroon ng dokdok.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you po sa advice.
Aray ko.
Thank you.
We'll submit po a comprehensive report to your office, Your Honor.
To the budget committee, to the committee on the budget because I have to do that. Alam mo,
Okay po.
ayokong mapahiya yung kaibigan ko. Yung anak ng kaibigan ko, siya ang chairman ng finance committee. Kaya off the record yan ha. Gusto ko mukhang gwapo si Senator Angara. Off the record to ha. Suspended the session. So after the session was suspended, all right, we now go to let's make it Afab first before we go to Subic. Afab, will the chairman of Afab please come into the picture? You may leave, Apeco. You have a lot of work to do. Afab, if Afab is not ready, Emmanuel Pineda, are you ready?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. We are ready. We are,
Okay, make your presentation quick, please. Go ahead.
yeah. Good afternoon again, Mr. Chairman, and to the Honorable Senators Marcos and Gatchalian. We are the Afab and we are managing the Freeport area of Bataan, which evolved from the former Bataan Export Processing Zone by virtue of RA 9728 as amended by RA 11453, recently approved by the President in 2019. As of June this year, from 33 companies we inherited from the Bataan Economic Zone, we now have 91 operating FAB registered enterprises, and out of these, there are 39% manufacturing companies. Can you go to the next slide, please? Sorry, Mr. Chairman, we
Yeah, manufacturing, wholesale and retail, accommodations and food service, and estate development. What is 49%? 49% is manufacturing? Mr. Pineda? Do you want me to present your budget for you? You have a chart there, there's a pie chart. What is 49%?
Yes, 49% represents the manufacturing sector, Mr. Chairman.
And please proceed very fast. 11% is
11% for wholesale and retail, and 10% for power generation, utilities, accommodation, food and services. And out of all this, Mr. Chairman, majority are Filipino-owned enterprises representing 62%. The foreign-owned companies, the biggest group is the Korean group, consisting of 12%, followed by 7%.
the name of the Korean companies? Kochi? Would that be Kochi? Coach? Rather, sorry, Coach?
Dong-in Group, Mr. Chairman, for the Korean group.
They manufacture bags, right? Ladies' bags.
They manufacture sports bags and golf bags.
Mhm.
And the Chinese group are the ones that are manufacturing coats and other ladies' accessory bags.
All right.
So we have 7% British, 3% American, as well as Chinese and Japanese. And the rest are, the 10% comprised of various nationalities, including the very first Polish company in the Philippines, which paved the way for the establishment of the Polish embassy in the Philippines. The investments starting in 2010, when we became operational, accumulated to 151 billion actual investments in pesos by middle of 2020. By end of 2020, sorry, Mr. Chairman. We are able to generate employment starting at 12,777 when we took over, increased to a high of around 44,000 before the pandemic. And now we have 39,694 as of middle of this year. For the net value,
Budget?
come on.
Can we now go to the budget? You're saying you
Yes,
generated
Mr.
jobs, you
Chairman.
generated investments, and you have net value created from
Yeah.
your investments, correct?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman. Consistently, a positive net value created all through the years.
Return to the country, in other words.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, for our request for the proposed budget allocation, which will be for the capitalized expenditures on infrastructure, the DBM endorsed our request for 191.26 million pesos, Mr. Chairman, representing two major projects that would allow us to sustain our operations despite the challenges, because we are now going into the stage 3 of our underground power cables that would prevent power interruptions because of the deteriorating aerial lines that we inherited. There are
The typhoons, the poles will not go down. All right?
yes, Mr. Chairman, and
They don't get flooded out.
yeah, yes, sir. That will ensure continuous supply of power even with the onslaught of typhoons and other weather disturbances. And the second one is since we have been enforcing and administering port operations on the ports that are registered under the Afab, we are allocating 91.26 million pesos for the procurement of the vessel traffic management system for our port operations to support our port functions and the regulatory functions. This will allow us to optimize the potential of managing our harbors and thereby monitor the movement of vessels within the water territories of the FAB. So, Mr. Chairman,
Traffic management system, it will make sure that no collisions occur, and you will make sure that you know what vessels are in there who may not be
That's-
porting but are in the vicinity. Is that correct?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
That
We'll be able to identify even the time that they spent in anchorage, and we will be able to monitor their movements. And of course, it will aid us in also patrolling and preventing unauthorized vessels entering the water territories of the FAB.
All right. Proceed.
So, for our financial highlights, we just want to focus on the comparative equity releases from the national government vis-a-vis our remittances to the national government. As of middle of 2021, we have a total of 1.272 billion pesos equity released by the national government, and within the same period, we were able to remit to the national government 1.35 billion pesos, representing 6% surplus of remittance vis-a-vis the equity releases. Mr. Chairman. So, on the status of the
Chairman,
implementation,
may I just ask? I'm a little bit confused by your numbers. Sorry.
yes, please, Ma'am Senator. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Chairman, okay lang magtanong na para
Please,
mabilis
go ahead.
tayo.
Go ahead. Para matapos tayo. Go ahead.
Yes, itatanong ko lang because the expenses incurred by Afab in fiscal year 2020 reached 1.11 billion. And these are projected to increase abruptly by another 500 million. So, ano yung sinasabi niyong equity release? Ang laki-laki naman ng expense na sinasabi ninyo.
Mr. Chairman, the equity releases are from the appropriation only for the capitalized expenditures under GAA for our projects. The other operating expenses are internally funded revenues, internal revenues generated by Afab from its operations, Mr. Chairman.
You're saying that the
What you're saying is
remittance
the
to
government
NG
gives you
is
money and you return the
1.35.
money
Sorry.
was changed, and that the rest of the expenditures are coming directly from your earnings, right?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
Senator
See.
Marcos?
Yes, okay. There's a total, but your total comprehensive income is only 101.355 million. So, alin dito yung talagang kinikita ninyo? Alin dito yung NG pa rin ang nagbabayad?
The equities are fundings for infrastructure projects, Mr. Chairman, Madam Senator. And this income statement will show our corporate expenditures and revenues comparative for 2020 and 2021 with projections for 2022.
There's a drastic reduction in your projection for revenues for 2021 and 2022, naturally because of COVID and so on. However, there is still a total, there are more than the 91. You have registered 136 enterprises, and last year, new locators were registered, totaling 159. So, dumadami yung investor ninyo, bakit bumabagsak ang kita ninyo?
Mr. Chair, Madam Senator, Your Honors, recently with the approval or the enactment of Republic Act 11453, we are allowed to register expansion areas, and so far we have registered around total of 13 expansion areas, and these are all privately owned and operated special economic zones. Meaning, we just regulate them the way PESA does for special economic zones. So we don't really get substantial revenues from them.
I see. So these
They go
additional
Philippines.
locators are actually private and not remitting anything to you.
We collect administrative fees
I see.
to cover our administrative expenses to regulate them.
Okay.
Will you, with the permission of Senator Marcos, will you tell us some of the firms that are investing outside the zone that are covered by the largest of the benefits given to the zone for these companies?
Can you kindly repeat the question, Mr. Chairman?
The EPSA or the original EPSA is in Mariveles. You're telling us you've already gone out by virtue of a subsequent law. And these are Filipino companies that are locating outside of the original EPSA. Is that correct?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
Now, can you tell
So-
us and give us an idea who are these companies and where are they located?
So this slide shows that there are 5 expansion areas within Mariveles, and 2 each for Bagac, Hermosa, Dinalupihan, and 1 each for the towns of Limay, Pilar, Balanga City, Orani, and Abukay. And the map shows the relative locations in the peninsula. And for Mariveles, the expansion areas are namely Camaya Coast Station 1, then Mariveles Economic Zone, Seafront Town Site, Lupanin Industrial Estate, and Central Top Economic
Excuse me,
Zones.
all I want is the name of the companies that have located there and how much employment they have brought.
As we speak, Mr. Chairman, they are still in the process of developing the site before they can really accept locators.
In other words, the people who
Yep.
own the sites are private entities who own land, and you're allowing them now to develop it as we envisioned in Rich Bill, that they would be subdivided so that any company can go in there and take advantage of the incentives being given the Mariveles, the Afab. Is that correct?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman, and we are happy to note that even before the pandemics came into play, we have already prepared somehow to combat the challenges of transportation and physical distancing and allowing workers to be able to work closer to their homes because of
So
this.
in fact, there are still no companies there. You're just in the process of developing the zones. Is that correct?
There are some that have already been like Mayakers, they have been approved in way back 2015, and there are already activities there. And next in line is the GN Power Dominion Power Plant, which is now nearing completion, and the Energy Regulatory Commission and the Department of Energy are very happy to have this development to address the
But listen, you're only telling me, answering my question in part, Mr. Pineda. What I'd like to know is, apart from GM, what do you have in Dinalupian? What do you have in Hermosa? What do you have in Bagac? What do you have in Mariveles? Are they already operating factories there?
They are, as I mentioned, Mr. Chairman, they have been just recently approved and they are in the process of developing their.
So none have been, they're developing and no factories are still operating, correct?
Not yet, none yet, Mr. Chairman.
Simple question requires a simple answer. Thank you. All right. So you have practically a total area that has been added to the zone of 3,083 hectares. Is that correct?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
3,083 hectares, or about times 10,000 per hectare. That's about how many square meters?
3 million, right?
3 million.
Times 10,000, that's
Ah,
thir- thir-
million. Laki,
30,
no?
sorry,
It's
30 million square meters.
meters per hectare, right?
Yes,
If you have 3,000
10,000,
hectares, that's 3 million square meters.
30 million, Mr. Chairman.
30 million?
30 million square meters,
You're
three,
right. You're right. Okay, great. And when do you expect this to start?
based on, there are varying schedules, Mr. Chairman, on their committed startup operations. By the way, to prevent, to ensure that they will be delivering on their commitments, we have we have made part of the requirements for registration the posting of bonds for performance or guarantee bond to cover the committed investments and committed startup operations.
Okay, Senator Marcos, any more questions?
Yes, I just wanted to repeat two questions from last year in the same hearings also conducted by my chairman, Senator Gordon. COA mentioned again the amount of 235 million already due for 9 years. Why hasn't this been settled? Due to the treasurer daw. Tagal na nito, 9 years na eh. 2 taon na natin pinag-uusapan.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, Madam Senator, Your Honors, this amount represents the JICA loan that was used to finance the improvement of the centralized sewage treatment plant, and it was paid by the national government to cover sovereign guarantee, and we have actually reduced it from $500 million, I think, including interests.
So, nangangalahati na siya? Ganon?
Yeah, we have paid I think 150 million for
Okay,
the
it's only 235 now. So what you're saying is that you're bringing it down. My question was that infamous loan that you inherited from OECF and now JICA, hindi ba national government na yan? Bakit kayo pa rin ang nagbabayad?
Mr. Chairman,
Transferred na.
yeah, Mr. Chairman, Madam Senator, actually we have been raising this concern to the Bureau of Treasury and the Department of Finance, and we even offered that we trade the equity vis-a-vis the payment for the loan. The credit, like offsetting the equity due to us based on the as provided by the charter, and deduct it from the equity so that we will be cleared from the arrears that is being collected from us by the national government.
Yes, in fairness,
But is
Mr.
that
Chairman,
fair?
I
think the
agree
question of
with
Senator
Mr.
Marcos
Pineda.
is not fair. That should
Sorry.
be national government loan.
That's why, in fairness to Mr. Pineda, Mr. Chairman, I was going to say that this isn't quite right.
Right,
If the
I
loan
agree.
has already been transferred and is in fact through a sovereign guarantee, it should be carried by the national government. Why is the national government only paying JICA as guarantor and pushing the entire loan to Afab? Hindi naman yata tama.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Madam Senator. Actually, if we may also make a statement that we are even charged for penalties and interests.
Oh my. Yeah, it's highly irregular. It's a sovereign guaranteed loan, and suddenly you're the ones burdened with it.
You should consider suing them in the Supreme Court.
Mr. Chair, you're volunteering to be their lawyer.
My record in the Supreme Court is quite good.
Here's what I'm going to say.
We had a recent meeting with the Department of Budget and Management, and they have given us some recommendations on how to handle this, and we are pursuing that. We're actually including the amount of loan in our request for budget appropriations, and that will be part of the government equity, as again, to be offset. And for the final, so that finally, the loan will be settled on paper.
All right.
Yes.
I'd be interested to know what happened to your negotiations with the national government on that matter.
We will keep you posted, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. And Senator Marcos, of course.
Yes,
Yes,
thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Naawa naman ako sa Afab. So,
Alright.
I have no further questions about their budget.
In this country, meritocracy is not encouraged. They promise those who are successful, and those that are fool around are rewarded. This is the problem. Okay. I will entertain a motion to approve the budget.
Yes, precisely, Mr. Chairman, since we have no further questions and in fact sympathize with the highly irregular situation of this national loan imposed upon AFAB, may we therefore quickly approve this budget of the AFAB at subcommittee level for endorsement to the mother committee and thereafter to the plenary.
Thank you. The motion has been duly seconded by Demonstrar Truly, and now it will be brought to the Mother Committee. And we thank the Afab folks for coming here and commend your industry and your vision and your drive. And I think that like Subic and Clark, this should be emulated because there are so many things that we can do in this country that the local folks, the local communities can actually spearhead the development of a new Philippines. I remember that this was a project of President Marcos long ago, and when it lost its steam because of extraneous matters, we all came to the rescue, and the local government lobbied, and we supported it, and now you're improving it, and you're going gangbusters. Thank you very much.
Maraming salamat po, Mr. Chairman, Madam Senator. Thank you very much for your support.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We now call on the Sbma to present their budget. We have Chairperson Sbma. See, I don't call you Madam Chair or Mademoiselle Chair. I call you Chairperson. All right. Chairperson Ani Wilma Ishma, please proceed.
Yes,
You have can you introduce the folks with you?
yes, sir. Magandang gabi po, Senator Gordon, Senator Marcos, and if Senator Gatchalian is still around, magandang gabi po. With me in our meeting room is actually the full management team for any questions that you will be for any questions that you will refer to us. Of course, also online is my Senior Deputy Administrator, Ramon Agregado. But the whole team is here to backstaff us, sir.
Yes, and Mr. Renato Lee is there. Who is Mr. Renato Lee? I've never met him. Have I met him?
Can you just go to the here? This is the camera with me.
Ba't malabo?
Hi, Mr. Chairman.
Hello. Okay. Go ahead. And Ronnie Yambao? Can we just say yes, I know you, and Deputy Administrator Sankey, Antoinette Sankey.
Answering the mics, please. Use the microphone.
We can proceed already, I think. Please proceed with your presentation of your budget, please.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Hold on. Hindi, ako maglilipat. Ay. I am sure you know that we are one of the very first Freeport under your tutelage when you founded us in 1992. Our economic indicators at the moment We have 1,744 locators. Ako maglilipat, huwag maglilipat. 10.35 billion total foreign domestic investment to date, with 138,964 Freeport zone workforce. This is as of June 30, 2021.
And these are people working inside the Freeport, right?
Yes, sir. Inside the Subic Bay Freeport, living in the nearby communities of Zambales, Bataan, Pampanga, and sometimes even as far as Tarlac. There's also a few coming in from Visayas and Mindanao.
Go ahead.
So this is our revenue summary from 1992. But if I can take you to 2020, 2021, at 3.2 billion, and to date, we're a quarter more to end of the year at 1.6 billion. Our financial performance.
Well, let me ask you just a quick question as you proceed. Has the Sbma been a burden to the government?
Oh, sir, definitely not. In fact, we have been remitting religiously our dividends, 6.8 billion in dividends. Total dividends remitted already to the national government, sir. Of course, that does not include all the all payments made to the Bureau of Customs, the BIR, the Sbma remittance to the BIR, and the dividend that we give to the national government. The total that we have as of since 2013, sir, we did not even include before 2013. So from 2013 to 2021, we have 221 billion 871 in terms of contribution to the national government, sir.
That includes local income taxes paid by the work people?
No, not just by Sbma, sir.
That's just by customs
Including the income taxes and corporate taxes.
inside Sbma. Outside in Longobo, Subic, Castillo, San Marcelino,
Hindi pa,
Zambales, and Dinalupian, and Morong, and Hermosa, and Bataan, and all the rest of the folks living, sojourning every day, because it's near enough now. There are a lot more taxes being generated, a lot more VAT being generated. Would that be correct?
Yes, sir. Opo, sir.
We ain't done so bad, have we? Go ahead.
Yes, sir. So despite the pandemic, sir, we tried to maintain top performance in terms of keeping the employment numbers at 138,000, at least 138,000 or close to 139,000.
Well, we did lose employment in Hanjin. Hanjin had a top employment of about 24 to 28,000. Now it's gone. What has any you pick up the slack there?
Sir, when Hanjin left in 2018, we were able to pick up the slack slowly. If you will notice in this slide, we lost 33,000 in 2017.
I stand corrected then.
We gradually lost Hanjin from 2005 to 2017 under shipbuilding and marine in this slide, sir. But we were able to recover on the left through manufacturing, and then of services. As you can see, both the left column and the right column of manufacturing and services, we little by little recovered, and we have even surpassed numbers during the Hanjin time.
And hopefully the facility left by Hanjin will be taken over by new companies. And if not, you should try and supersede that event by trying to get investments to go in there, won't you?
Sir, right now, the Hanjin is working with a White Knight coming from North America. From what we hear, the negotiations are already pretty advanced, and we expect the asset purchase agreement to be submitted to the court already, because as you know, the Hanjin
Yes,
Hanjin went to court for rehabilitation.
that's correct.
Yes, sir.
When do you
Sir,
expect that to happen? When do you expect that to happen?
uh, sir, anytime in the next 2 months, the court should be able to give us a direction already. Because from what we understand, the asset purchase agreement is for signing by in the next 2 weeks, sir. According to the banks, we just had a meeting with the banks a week or so ago.
All right.
They're expecting that by the first week of October, first to second week of October, the asset purchase agreement will be signed between Hanjin, within the banks, Hanjin, and the White Knight.
How much loans were left hanging by Hanjin with our local banks? Are you aware of it?
Ay, hindi ba? We're not right now, sir, we're not privy to the total amount of the loans in the banks because hindi po kami part ng discussion nung area na
Again,
yun.
Senator, I mean, that's another occasion when the national government says
Sir,
what is yours is mine, and what is mine is what is yours is negotiable. What is mine, and what is yours is not even negotiable. They hide it from us.
yes, sir. Sir, right now, what is declared to us is a total of 422 million 043,000 US dollars.
Well, that's an awful lot of money. Yeah. But they also left a lot of good infrastructure, correct?
Yes, sir.
2 graving docks, very big graving docks.
2 billion worth 2 billion worth 2 billion US dollar investment, sir.
There you go. So that should go to Sbma, shouldn't it? You have a claim for unpaid rental, haven't you? Are you being paid out of it?
Sir, by the time that Hanjin filed for rehabilitation, even to date, they are still updated in their rentals. We have a claim for future rentals.
All right.
Opo.
Which I suppose will be assumed by White Knight.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Tsaka po yung claim din naman po namin siya sa rehab court. We made a manifestation in the rehab court because we will be part of the creditors of that will be settled by the rehabilitation court.
Just as an aside, for the benefit of Senator Marcos, the original plan was to move the city of Olongapo there until we got this contract to make the oil platform for Malampaya, Shell. And we did it overnight. That was one of the fastest contracts ever made in this country. And Shell thanked the young people of Sbma who did that contract. I was then at that time, and the young people did overnight, because they were in a hurry. And the oil platform was finished. And when they left, originally we were supposed to go there. Then we got Hanjin, because Hanjin built half the airport of Subic Bay, and Apeco was the other half. And because of that, they found that the Sbma was a good place to invest, and they decided to invest there. Really, I'm sorry that this happened, but anyway, we thank the Koreans for their coming to Subic and giving us a big boost. We became the 4th largest shipbuilding country in the whole world. Can you imagine that? Number 4 tayo. And I was hoping that we could have watched them build ships, and that our country could have started building our own ships like the Japanese did during the Meiji Restoration. When they ordered ships in Japan, they watched them build it, and then later on, they built their own ships all the way to the Yamato. Now they build their own aircraft carriers, they build their own submarines, and we still cannot even build our own. Never mind. Sorry about that.
Sayang.
Okay. Just musing, just saying aray. Go ahead, Miss.
Sir, despite the pandemic, sir, we continue to attract investments. As of the last quarter of 2021, we have 874 million pesos in investments. As I've mentioned earlier, our BIR collection is also very robust at 1.019 billion for the last quarter of 2021 for just the previous quarter, I mean.
Is that 1 billion? 1 billion, you say?
1 billion 19, sir.
What is that?
1,019 million.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. 1,019,000,000. All right.
Yes, sir. Sir, also, as you know, we also provide local government shares to the surrounding communities of SBMA.
I know I drafted the bill, remember?
Yes, sir.
And how much have you given? How much have you given to them?
Sir, to date, from 2011 to 2021, it's 2.6 billion, 2.7 billion almost.
You know, quite frankly, I wish we had given that to the volunteers of Subic. You know, the very, very common folks that came in there and gave their lives for it. And the only thing I'm afraid I was able to give them is a legacy of a wall with their names in it. But I wish they have not even gotten any ayuda. They should be given, all of them. Kahit na paano, some largesse from what you're earning there. Instead, we're giving it to the local governments. I hope that they're taking care of their communities with it. Thank you very much. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. For tourist arrivals, as you know, we are a combination of a manufacturing, industrial, and tourism destination. But the pandemic has hit us hard for 2020 and 2021. We are down to just in the low 20,000, 200,000 in terms of tourism numbers.
That's domestic.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right.
We are starting to pick
Budget, I noticed. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Make it fast so I can go to the questions and Senator Marcos can also.
we are starting to pick
Marcos
up
always
on
comes out with real beauties.
we are starting to pick up on our seaport
Fast, make
volume.
it fast.
Container cargoes are moving up. Also, non-containerized cargo are also starting to pick up.
What is our container traffic right now compared with Manila?
The first 6 months, our container traffic, sir, non-containerized. For our container traffic for the first 6 months of 2021 is 57 total. Is a total of 57 import. 57,651 TEUs in the last 6 months, sir. For import and for export, 21,338 TEUs, sir.
As you know, the dream was to have at least 11 million containers if we had gotten the right provider. But anyway, I don't look back. I just sacrifice and grin and bear it. Okay, go ahead.
So, despite the pandemic, sir, we have started picking up. Ships are already coming back. And for the first semester of 2021, we've had 517 foreign vessels already. These are cargo ships, of course, moving about to make sure that cargo is delivered in our part of the world.
Yeah. And have you built the piers that were destroyed by an earthquake?
Right now, actually, sir, right now we stopped using Alava in the meantime because of the recent earthquake. We still have to verify its structural integrity. But it's one of the things that is, kasi po ang JICA through the Department of Finance have come over here in Subic to conduct pre-feasibility studies. And the Alava Wharf is number one. That Alava Wharf, Bataan, and Riviera is number 1, 2, and 3 in the priorities for the JICA feasibility studies. And hopefully, we will be able to get a plan and maybe a loan if we will not be able to get funding from the national government once the plan from JICA
I
materializes.
strongly suggest that you finish that construction because we dredged that harbor, di ba? The government has already dredged the harbor because it sunk. It became very, very shallow because of Pinatubo, and we had not dredged until about 5 years ago. That'd be
Yes,
correct?
sir. It was drunk. We dredged it in the last 5, 6 years. That's why we were able to attract the big cruise ship liners. Remember, it was the first time that we were able to attract the biggest cruise ship liners here in the country that needed a bigger deck. But the pandemic also put a stop to that. And then the recent earthquake in the last couple of months have also put a dent in Alava Pier. So we have to be very careful now. We are now looking at the structural integrity of Alava Wharf.
That's why I suggest you strongly, don't wait. Just go ahead. Trust our local engineers and build it, because if it's gonna take time, we have the money to be able to put up that port. But anyway, Senator
Chairman
Marcos.
Gordon? Yes. Chairman Gordon, I only really have one question. It's regarding the proposed subsidy of 601 plus million to fund ecozone infrastructure development. And we just wanted to hear and be able to look forward to these projects. What are they? Are these the Alava ports and the other quite aged now and deteriorated infrastructure?
So, ma'am, thank you for asking, but thank you for asking. We are looking at a road rehabilitation project.
These are roads. This isn't the port project.
Ma'am, kadugtong ma'am siya. Meron pong second yung rehabilitation of port facilities and navigational equipment. The traffic control system, this is an upgrade. Ma'am, dun sa slides po may papakita lang po akong pictures.
So, halo-halo na itong 601, all to do with the rehab.
Opo, iba't iba pong projects all over the Freeport. Kasi nga po, mula po nung umalis ang Amerikano close to 30 years ago, there has been no major infrastructure investment here in Subic. So we were all living in the inheritance that the Americans left. So by the time po na during this administration, 25 years later, talaga pong gasgas na lahat ng daan, mga lubak-lubak na, yung mga traffic lights,
you also have another sum here in your COB of 1.515 for capital outlays. Iba pa to? I think it's in your COB.
Yan sana yung mga pangarap namin.
Ito ba yung mga wish list?
Opo, kasi ma'am yun pong yung dating taon. Yung 606, yan na yung, ma'am sorry, yun pong 1.5, yan ma'am yung previous releases. Ito pong 601, ito po yung for this year sana, continuation of the projects that were funded already by the national government. And actually, sir, ma'am, meron po kaming wish list din sana na close to...
Would you show the slide on what is ongoing that has to be funded?
Sorry, sir?
The ongoing projects that were funded this year and that needs to be further funded.
Yes, sir.
Can you show the slide?
Ito po, sir, una road rehabilitation project.
I think there was some controversy about the choice of projects, if I'm not mistaken, that there were some groups that were saying that the port rehab should have had priority as well as the drainage. But in fact, everything is going to the roads. Is that correct?
Actually, ma'am, kasi yung nakukuha rin naming pondo is just enough for the projects. Ang ina-approve lang po ng DBM itong amounts na ito na ipe-present sa inyo. Ma'am, since 2017, 2018, we have been submitting the Alaba Wharf budget, which is close to 2 billion. The Alaba Wharf rehabilitation, which is close to 2 billion, if not a little over 3 billion. Yun pong drainage system, ma'am, we even already hired a consultant to design it. And right now, ang targeted estimated cost nun is 2.5 billion. And tuwing sinasubmit mo namin siya sa DBM, medyo nawawala na po siya sa listahan because kailangan din po namin ituloy.
Gordon, sayang naman, tingi-tingi na naman ang ating repair.
If you people don't do that, right now, climate change has taken over Subic. It floods a lot now. Diba? That's why you have to dredge, you have to put drainage systems, sewage systems. And
yes, sir. Sir, may master plan na nga po kami talaga for the 2.5 billion. Kaya lang nga po, sir, pagka umuupo na kami sa DBM, doon kami na sisilat. Opo. In fact, inalat lang po ng DBM now is 9 million.
9
Meron
million
na po,
lang?
sir, kaming master plan talaga. Pina-consultant na po namin ng master plan yung drainage system, sir.
So what are you asking that must be added so that you can survive? So that it will not deteriorate,
Wish list.
not lose the crown jewels of what was left behind for us.
Sayang.
Sir, can you put it in the slide so that Senator Marcos can see it? Ma'am, dito po sa approved ng DBM, that's 601,668. Those are the projects that we just mentioned. And if you'll notice on the slide, on the right side, the request for congressional initiative, if you'll see the drainage system of the Subic Bay Freeport, at 1.26 billion, 1.2 billion, this is just a first tranche, I assume, because sabi niya sa akin 2.5 billion yung
Yung
budget.
2.5. So kalahati pa lang yan.
Yes, ma'am. May master plan, ma'am, yan. May available plan, ma'am.
And that affects also Olongapo, if I'm not mistaken, di ba? You have to fix the drainage because bababa ang tubig dyan kung hindi nyo gagawin yan, di ba? Tama ba yan?
Opo, in fact, pinag-uusapan lang po namin earlier, part of another 1B is required to drench the Kalaklan River, but hindi na po yun sa amin. Naisip ko po, I will have to go to the DPWH for assistance kung pwede, kung hindi aasikasuhin ng mayor ng Olongapo.
But you did get dredging. You bought a dredging, right? A dredger? Is that correct? I saw somewhere there.
Naghihintay po, sir, kami ng SARO, di ba? Approval ng OP? Opo. We are waiting for the final approval from the Office of the President para po ma-issue yung SARO. Yes, sir.
All right. I'm sorry I can't be of much help to you there.
Ang daming dapat gawin. Luma na yan.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, the situation is climate
Ma'am,
change is upon us. Pinatubo clogged the river,
Oo.
even made the port area shallow. There has been some dredging, and there is a new highway which I object to, meaning to say going through the mountains and cutting of trees. I told the Department of Transportation that we will fight that, and I think they have since adjusted it because una is going to cost a lot more. There are so many things that have to be undertaken. What about the airport?
Ay, isa pa.
Sir, we have started accommodating repatriation flights because of the pandemic. Today,
Philippine Airlines, right?
yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. We have accommodated 20 flights. Okay, ayos yung slides. We have accommodated 20 flights for Subic, all Philippine Airlines from varying destinations, from varying countries, the Middle East, Hong Kong, even Palau. We have already, and Bahrain. We have already.
What are these pictures that you're showing? Are these airport land? I noticed you had a lot of flooded areas. Can you show us that again? Yung mga butas-butas sa kalye, bago tayo papunta dyan. Can you get your act together, please? I saw it already kanina.
Yes, sir. Na?
Sige, balik nyo.
Yung kanina, oo, yung mga photo.
Yung sa port area, yung butas-butas na, paano makakabilis doon pagka butas-butas?
Slide 30, ano?
Sa NSD ba yun? At saka doon sa ibang ports?
Slide
Nakita
30.
ko kanina butas-butas. Ano ba yun? Hindi yan. Go back pa.
Slide 30, anak. Calm down. Slide 30. Balik kayo dun sa ano.
Sige ba? Balik pa. I think I saw that somewhere there. Go ahead. Balik pa, please. Ako saan napunta yan eh. Mga butas-butas. maybe just send us that photo so that those photos so we can see it later and make an appeal na mabigyan ng pera yung mga yan dahil hindi pwede mag-deteriorate yan. Ano nangyari dyan? Yan. Kung di ko nagkakamali, ito ba yung NSD, wharf? Oh, don't move it. Ayan, saan yan? Sa Bataan.
On road network, sir.
Yeah. So, we paid dearly because ang dami mga trucks na dumadaan dyan, di ba? So, nasira na yan. Ano pa nasira?
Sir, this is part of the 601 that has already been pretty much approved by the DBM, which is now subject for your approval.
So this is the proposed subsidy we were talking about.
Sir, ma'am, sorry.
Yes, this is the proposed subsidy I was inquiring about earlier, the 601.
Yes, ma'am.
And then yun nga, yung COB ninyo may additional pa, yung 1.515. Kayo nag-submit para sa Ecozone infrastructure din. Capital
Yes,
outlay po.
Ma'am, yung 105, ma'am, yun yung last year.
1.515.
Nabigay ba yan? Nabigay? Nabigay
Hindi
ba yan?
yata yan yung last year. Ito yung sa inyo mismo, sa 1.515 capital outlay ninyo. I think that's your own eh.
Let me see. 1505.
In any case, it was also for capital outlay. It's your corporate operating budget proposed for 2022 COB. Tama ba? Is that included? Sa inyo ba yan? Or am I reading the wrong thing? No, I think, yes. Teka.
By the way, Ms. Sbma, can you...
Talaga you really need a lot of money for infrastructure.
Pakicorrect mo nga yung English dyan, ha? I'm sorry, Subic Freeport Zone boasts as the strictest traffic enforcer in the country. I don't know why you have to use the word boast. Has the reputation of being very strict in traffic enforcement in the country. Thus, the project shall ultimately enhance a more accurate and reliable traffic control system. Yung first sight test lang naman difference. But anyway, I saw the highway kanina, may baha-baha rin. Yan ba yung Argonaut?
Hindi pa natin na.
Hindi ko pa nakikita. Yung Argonaut, pakita nyo nga. Anyway, we know what the problem is.
Oo nga eh.
Even Senator Marcos knows that. But the road coming from Tipo, where you're going to put a road going to the airport, di ba yan ang problema? Yung railway, naayos na ba yan?
Sir, until now, ongoing po yung consultations ginagawa ng Subic Railway Committee that's being headed by the DOTR. Medyo marami pong concerns because of a lot of the stakeholders are very wary of the construction. In fact, yesterday po, kamit ko yung SBITC, which is the container terminal. Meron din po silang concern dun sa alignment dahil kakainin yung loob nila nung stop. So, medyo...
The original cut there, when I built Tipo Road, when I was there, I built Tipo Road. It went straight, Senator Marcos, if you're familiar with Subic, it went straight to the big terminal there with the big warehouses there, yung malalaki.
Bago yun nun.
Para tuloy-tuloy baba doon, sakay sa barko, balik ka agad. That was the whole idea. Now with the train, I still maintain that the port should really still be in that area at NSD along with Alawa, if you like, but anyway, that's beyond my ken already. Anyway, go ahead and present para matapos na tayo.
So, Mr. Chairman, perhaps what I would, my final rejoinder would simply be to urge the management of SBMA to address the COA findings regarding accounting errors, omissions affecting different accounts. You know, these are the old issues that you had from the past years, inventories, property and plant equipment, all that stuff. Perhaps you could submit na lang na itong mga housekeeping issues nasa ayos na?
Ma'am, we are in most, if not all of them, are complied with. Those ongoing na po yung pagko-comply po namin para po matapos na po yung mga karamihan po dyan mga accounting errors.
Oo,
more
puro,
than anything.
it's really to do with investment property, inventories, valuations, and so on. So puro housekeeping. So siguro you can just give us a brief that it's been settled somehow or other.
Opo. Ma'am, if you can see the slide, ma'am, our total, we have a status of implementation of 36 of our COA recommendations. We have fully implemented 13 or 36%, and 47% is partially implemented. We have 17% ongoing. Pinagbubutihan po naman namin, and I would like to thank our COA auditor who is also present here, si Sir Mark, who has been very, very helpful naman po para masara namin yung mga accounting issues, sir, ma'am namin. And thank you, ma'am, for recognizing na yung COA issues namin is really more of a housekeeping than some of the more concerning COA findings, ma'am.
Sige. Chairman Gordon, I have no further questions with that. If there are no other comments from the chair or the body, I herewith move that the budget of the SBMA be approved at the subcommittee level for endorsement to the mother committee and thereafter to plenary po.
All right, there's no objection. Same is approved. Thank you very much, Senator Marcos, as usual, for your very prescient comments and understanding. Thank you, Ms. Sbma, and thank you to the SBMA staff. You know, my heart will always belong there. SBMA has made our country proud. You know, everybody expected that it would fail, but it has gone on and on and on. Wala naman akong utang sa Subic, di ba? Siguro naman masasabi ko pa kayo may utang sa akin. Kung di natin sinalakay, wala nangyari dyan. All right, thank you very much. And
Sir.
I guess we'll have to go on and with our lives. And tomorrow we have the blue ribbon again. My gosh,
Oo nga pala.
never-ending story. But anyway, thank you. Thank you all the directors. Mr. Sino-sino kayo dyan? Andyan. Basta lahat kayo. Alam niyo na kung sino kayo. Thank you.
Thank you, salamat, sir.
Pwede na bang pumasyal sa Subic?
Yes, ma'am. MGCQ kami, ma'am.
Ay, okay.
Ma'am, mababa ang cases namin kasi mahigpit ma'am kami sa protocols.
Ayan, bongga. Maraming salamat.